Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 37 of Jank It Up Fuzzball. This is it, the grand finale. I'm your host, Brian, aka Force Ghost Jank. Wow, it has been a journey, and I know if you're tuning in, thank you. If you're tuning in, you're a fan of the podcast or the content, and I just want to say thank you. And that's really what this episode is about. We're putting Jank It Up Fuzzball to bed. And just wanted to go over some things and just say thanks. I totally get it. You follow something and then the game effectively dies at least once by the distributor, right? FFG is no longer releasing Star Wars Destiny. And then all of the content creators, if they hadn't already dried up, they just stopped producing content. And I totally get that. This is no one's day job, right? No one, I can't imagine any of the content creators I listen to. This is not what they do to put food on the table. But I like leaving things neat. I like having an opportunity to say goodbye and at least to leave something on my terms instead of just leaving it out there and being done with it. And a small part of me thinks that you're owed something. I don't know. You're owed a formal goodbye. And that's what I'm here to do today. So, I have no new Destiny content to talk about. I haven't played since the last episode was recorded with Greg. So I've got nothing new to share in terms of that. But I would like to spend a little bit of time today just going through my path to content creation, give some shout outs along the way. And then we're going to crack some packs today. I have 2 more Covert Missions packs given to me generously from Alan Preston, longtime super fan of Jank It Up Fuzzball. And we will end the show cracking those packs. We've cracked a lot of packs on the show, but we've only ever cracked 1 legendary. We'll see if somehow our luck changes today. So, hey, a little background on me. At this point, I'm now 45. I am a college professor. I teach graphic design. And I had done some podcasting before I got into creating Star Wars Destiny content. So it wasn't completely new to me to jump in, but I was excited about, giving it a shot. I thought I could have a slightly different voice. I'd seen the game. I'd heard about the game. I finally went and bought a couple of packs at like a Barnes & Noble, and then I bought the 2-player set, and then it just kind of steamrolled from there. And I was listening to some content creators try to get some ideas on what I was doing and how to play, and it was just so fun. It was so fun, and I enjoyed listening to every new episode that came out. I was just absorbing it, and it just seemed like a party, right? It seemed just so great. Here are people talking about something that I also greatly enjoyed. And, after a while I said, hey, I can do this. Maybe I can bring something unique. And that turned into Jank It Up Fuzzball. And I won't lie. One of the reasons I did it was because it would force me to learn some new things. Sure, I've built a WordPress site before, and I've done some podcasting, and I've done lots and lots and lots of social media graphic design. But it's fun to stretch, kind of stretch those skills and exercise those muscles. And, I knew that having a podcast would allow me to create graphics and allow me to write some content, and allow me to record and edit and promote. And those are all things that I do tangentially with my day job. And, I love that. I love learning things, right? Jank It Up Fuzzball, the website or the podcast, just became this kind of playground for me to do some stuff with. And it's been great. It's been great. The first episode released in October 2018. And 2019 was just the most amazing year. And then 2020, of course, was not. But, this is the 37th episode. And I think if anyone said, hey, you'll make it to 37, I would have laughed at the beginning, right? I thought, especially after the first 3, I was like, man, I don't know. This isn't going the way I thought. But I felt like we hit a groove at some point. And some of you started listening. And it's been amazing. I want to give a shout out. I mentioned listening to podcasts, and I do want to give a shout out to like kind of my Mount Rushmore of podcasts that I listened to, that I appreciated, that I loved listening to more than the others. And these are the 4 that inspired me to create content. Now, the fun thing about this episode is I'm going to talk about all these things that no longer exist. And I know like Destiny is not really a thing, and it is through the continuing committee, and that's awesome. And I'm going to give them props, and I will a little bit later. But no one's going to go back and listen to these podcasts that I'm about to talk about. Like, I get it. I wouldn't want you to go back and listen to old episodes of Jank It Up Fuzzball. There's just a timeliness of everything. But I do want to just highlight some people that really helped steer me off the sidelines from just being a listener. And we all need listeners, and listeners are amazing. But to become someone that could create content. And those 4 podcasts for me, the Mount Rushmore that I said, were The Jedi Trials with D House and Mike the Rebel Spy. I Rebel, so a huge shout out to Jedi Geek Girl. I thought it was so amazing that, in this space in Star Wars Destiny, there was a female podcaster. And later, Jedi Geek Girl was joined by Sarah Evans, which I thought that was amazing, right? To have this Destiny podcast that I really enjoyed, being run by 2 women. So huge shout out to have a female lead in the space. And I got to meet them both at Worlds in 2019, and that was really, really awesome. Golden Dice podcast. I think, if there was something that I was aspiring to be, it was probably the Golden Dice, excuse me. So Jack and his band of merry men, especially Brian, they were great. When I finally did some alt art, even before I decided to do podcast, I approached the Golden Dice because they just seem like friends you'd want to hang out with, right? They just seem so casual and everything. And I love me some Golden Dice podcast. And lastly, Discard to Reroll. Mr. Chip is a force. And, I'm sad that he hung it up when he did. And I wish him nothing but the best. He kind of completely ghosts away. And I know he's got a very important job in the real world. And so, he just can't hang around with the rest of us. But those 4 podcasts were super impactful on me. And I said, hey, I can do that. I want to do that. And once I started creating content, there were other podcasts, right? We had this small area where I thought maybe we had the golden age of Destiny content, right? And it was, and this is all my opinion, so your opinion can differ, right? So let's just be clear with that. But once I got in, and I don't exactly know when I felt like I kind of quote unquote belonged, but there were so many other content creators where I did feel like I had a place. And just a shout out to some other content creators that I continued to enjoy even as I myself was creating content. Roll On, Kevin and Corwin, such a huge influence as well. Because I was like, holy cow, here are 2 brothers kind of in the same vein as me. They were a little more competitive, but also there was a lot of casual talk. And I love the banter in between the siblings. Roll On, obviously, I don't know. Meeting them and Producer Pops at Worlds was also another highlight. Scruffy looking dice rollers. Oh, wow. From across the pond. Meeting those guys at Worlds. Just tremendous. Great content. Again, you can just tell a bunch of guys hanging around, probably drinking some beer and talking shop and being super creative about deck building. I loved it. Dice of Failure. Sarcasm goes a long way with me. So the Dice of Failure podcast, it's great. I love the attitude. I love the casual nature. They were also competitive, but it was loose enough where, I felt like if I ever met them in person, I could hang out and approach them. Because honestly, I was starstruck with some people, right? Even at Worlds, I just didn't feel like I had the right to walk up to certain people, as strange as that sounds. And then lastly, Entourage Gaming. I thought they came on the scene and did a really nice job of that. Video gameplay, man, I got a lot better because I watched a lot of people play. And huge shout out to Airbook Gaming, who also podcasted those. That was also a can't miss. They were way more competitive. And, I was in the same bar as them at Worlds, and I went up, summoned all my courage to say hello as a fanboy. And it was really, really nice, really cool. But yeah, I learned a whole lot watching Airbook Gaming gameplay. Same with Dice Commando, just watching gameplay videos there. And the Brothers Dim and the now Loth Wolf Pack, such great video content. I've dabbled in a little video content, no gameplay, but over the last 6 months, or not even that, but around the end of the year, I started doing a little bit more with video, just again to learn something new. And so certainly inspired by those. And right now there are people producing great content for Destiny as it stands. And I do want to give a shout out for like A Renewed Hope, the continuing committee. They're doing a fantastic job. I mentioned on the last podcast, it's just not my thing. I think I really enjoy the randomness of the cracking packs where, I don't know. Something about the living card game, the idea of that hasn't struck a chord with me yet. It may, but right now I still don't see myself picking up any of the player sets. But, I love seeing them out there. Echo Base, Dice Commando, shouting out some Houston peeps, Diggity Destiny. there are a lot more other people still creating content for Star Wars Destiny, and I think that's awesome, and that will carry everyone really, really far. In terms of supporting the pod, I would be remiss if I didn't say, if I didn't shout out my friends of Jank on my website. I have a section for friends of Jank. Chris at Top Deck TCG, the first guy I approached, or I don't even know who approached you, but he was so generous. He even mailed me some packs to crack. And it was neat to be able to say, like, hey, I have this kind of authority. I'm recognized by Top Deck DCG. Kingwood Hobbies. I think we all know Kingwood Hobbies and Trey, and they're more local to me. Game Shop of Destiny. And then lastly, back in Houston, Aegis Creative Company. All four of those have been super supportive of Jank It Up Fuzzball. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. Trey, thank you for letting me run some tournaments at Kingwood Hobbies, right? We did a 40-card Solidarity tournament, very, very janky, a lot of fun. And then we did a sealed decks for charity tournament, which was like a white elephant gift exchange. And we raised almost $300 for Toys or Tots. And those kinds of things are going to be the memories for me, right? It's the people, and not necessarily in person, but it's just the interactions that we have. So that's awesome, right? All of a sudden I learned that a content creator, you meet people and people enjoy your work, and then you stay in contact. So Patrick in Idaho, and Mike in Nebraska, and Jose down here in Houston. These are all people that I met through this game, because of this game. And Alan Preston. I've mentioned Alan a lot. And, Alan, I heard about Alan through Discard to Reroll, of course. But Alan's tremendous, right? He is such a great ambassador to the game. He clearly especially when Destiny was kind of thriving, he would take new players under his wing and just share stuff. Stuff that has value. He would just give it away to make other players more excited about the game, and that's awesome. And there are so many others, and I apologize if I didn't call you out by name, but just know that, yes, so many other people have reached out and sent little notes of encouragement or appreciation or comments, and it's all been amazing. It's all meant the world to me to know that, hey, a few people listened to me ramble on about this deck idea I had, and to make little knickknacks and tokens and things like that people are interested in. It's been great. It's been everything I wanted it to be and more. My personal MVP and Jank It Up's MVP is going to be Greg, my buddy Greg. You've heard him on the podcast, but without Greg, there would be no Jank It Up, because I'm not in a position where anyone else really played around where I live. I'm just not in that circle, and so having Greg to try out my stupid decks and just to bounce ideas off of. And, over the pandemic, having Greg to play like every weekend, knowing that there would be that kind of just moment where we can roll some virtual dice and chat is phenomenal. And so, a lot of this is thanks to him. And we're still going to play. We have lots of boxes and lots of packs to get through, and I'm excited for that. I love this game, and I want to underscore that. I love Star Wars Destiny. I'm going to continue to play Star Wars Destiny. It's just, it's time for the content to stop. And some of you are probably saying, hey, I thought you stopped like 9 months ago. And you were right. But I wanted to finish it. I wanted to put a bow on it, right? I wanted to have natural closure to the podcast. And that's what this is. That's just me just saying, hey, thanks. You may be wondering, well, what's the point? What's the takeaway here? So let me just say this, right? I think the takeaway is, and you're seeing this through a Renewed Hope Committee, but if you love something, you want to support something, there are people out there that will find a way to make it work. And also, lean in. I think that's my takeaway. Lean in, right? I didn't know if I wanted to create content, but I felt like I could have a distinctive voice, and try it. And, it's an experiment. Jank It Up Fuzzball is a giant experiment, and it was fantastic, right? It worked way better than I ever imagined it could have worked, but I learned so much. And so I would just encourage any of you, whether it's about a game or about an interest or a hobby or anything, if you have an opportunity to learn a couple of new skills and create some content, then do that. Now, some of you may say, hey, I have zero time for that. I enjoy playing. I have nothing against that, right? Keep playing. That's awesome. But I look for opportunities to just try little experiments, try things out, learn some new things. And, Jank It Up Fuzzball exceeded that, because I did all those things, and then I met so many incredible people and I had so many amazing experiences that I just had no idea were coming to me. It was just really, really, really tremendous. That's what I got. I just want to say a heartfelt thanks. I know some people have asked, am I going to switch to cover another game? I'm really not. I'm not a huge gamer, and I am going to move on to some other things. I want to pursue some ideas, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be of interest to anyone. It's not going to be gaming. It's not. It's just not going to be that way. So I'm still playing Destiny, but I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm not going to take pictures of it. I'm not going to do that stuff. So the one thing about content creation is it does cost money, right? It costs money to have a website. It costs money to host audio files. It costs money to do certain things. And so Jank It Up Fuzzball will be disappearing just because I don't particularly feel the need to pay any more money for it. And so the podcast will be up probably until early July, and then I'm going to turn off my Buzzsprout account, and that will probably destroy all the access to the files, so they won't work. And then I'm going to let the domain expire this fall. And so jankitupfuzzball.com will kind of fade away. It'll sunset away. And I'm not going to delete, but I'm not going to use the Jank It Up Fuzzball YouTube. I'm not going to use the Jank It Up Fuzzball Twitter. I'm not going to use the Jank It Up Fuzzball Instagram or update the Facebook account. So I'm just going to let all that lie. But I'm not going to be there. So if you want to engage, and I would love to engage with any of you, right? I would love it. If you want to engage with me, my name is Brian Piana, Piana. My email is B as in Brian, Piana, @gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter @bpiana, and you can find me on Instagram @BrianPiana. So again, that's P as in pizza, IANA. Find me there, right? Reach out. I would love to get to know you outside of Destiny. You can kind of see some of the stuff that I'm interested in outside of Destiny. And so if you want to reach back out, that's awesome. Then let's do that. If you don't, and you're like, I was only here for the Destiny content, then that's cool too, right? I hope I've given you some enjoyment. I guarantee you that everyone, if you're listening to this, you have returned that enjoyment tenfold to me. And I just want to say thank you. I'm about to crack some packs. That's what we do. I'm not expecting a legendary, but I will say Alan mailed me the last 4 packs in his local store, and I cracked 2 of them on my last YouTube video. And of the 2 I cracked, I did pull a legendary. It's on camera. It's pretty awesome. So I can't imagine that there are 2 legendaries out of 4 packs. I suppose there could be, but I'm not suggesting there is. If for any reason, I do have one ask. If for any reason you have a Worlds 2019 Top 64 playmat and you're willing to part with it, please reach out to me. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. It'd be cool to have a Top 64 playmat because I was really close. I was really, really, really close. Okay. I think I don't know. Let's just crack some packs. Let's do what we normally do. We're going to crack packs. We're going to say goodbye. And then Jank It Up Fuzzball is going to transition into Force Go status. And, again, thanks. Thanks for listening. Let's see what we get. We have 2 packs of covert missions. Let's open the first. It is not a legendary, so don't get too excited. But it is Experimental Booster. It is a 1-cost red neutral upgrade mod. Modify vehicle support. After this die rolls a blank, discard attached vehicle unless it is piloted. I love this, but it scares me. Just like a lot of things in covert missions with pilots. Some pilots are not good or some vehicles are not good. There's always a risk that there's going to be some damage dealt to you. You could lose your whole vehicle. But the die side reads 1 indirect, 2 indirect, 2 indirect, 1 discard, 1 shield, and a blank. And it's 1 cost. 1 cost for a mod. That's a pretty sexy die for 1 resource. But the downside is it has to be piloted, because if it's not piloted and you roll that blank, then obviously the mod and the vehicle go away. The uncommon is Joint Maneuver. It is a red neutral 0-cost event. Resolve one of your vehicle dice showing damage, increasing its value by the number of characters piloting that vehicle. So piloting is always an interesting thing. You always assume, well, there can be 1 pilot, but you can actually pilot a vehicle that's already been activated. So you can jump on and have like 2 people pilot it. So if you wanted Sabine and like Luke to pilot the same ship, that can happen. Or any other combination of pilots that have piloting. Remember that just because someone's a pilot, like little Anakin is a pilot, but he does not have piloting. So that is something to remember. The 3 commons, Trap the Blade, it's got some great art, is a blue villain event, 1 cost. Remove a die showing melee damage. If it is an upgrade die, you may spot a blue character and spend 1 resource to discard its matching card from play. So, potentially, for 2 resources, you can get rid of an upgrade. Maybe. But if no other reason, for 1 resource, you can remove a die showing melee damage. So very situational, right? Your opponent needs to be playing sticks, but it does have that allure of possibly being able to just remove the upgrade all the way off. Next one up is a yellow villain event, Opportune Strike. If each of your opponents has an exhausted character and no dice showing damage, deal 2 indirect damage to each of them. So again, that doesn't say characters, it's opponents, so in case there's a multi-player game. But still, Greg has used this against me a couple times, and it's annoying. But if each of your opponents has an exhausted character, so just 1 exhausted character and no dice showing damage, it's it's damage from hand. Just for 1 cost, you deal 2 indirect damage to each opponent. It's pretty nice. This is good. The last card is another villain. Wow, it's not a villain. It's a downgrade. Cruel Methods. 1 cost red villain downgrade. After you claim or take control of the battlefield, you may deal 1 damage to attached character. This goes in all your Commander Pyre decks. I'm having some fun with Pyre right now. I'm trying Pyre in different ways. I have a DJ Pyre deck I'm tinkering with, which is fun. But I like Pyre. I don't know much about the character because I haven't seen too many Pyre episodes of the Resistance, but I do like his Destiny interaction and his mechanics. So there you go. Just to recap that one, we had Experimental Booster, Joint Maneuver, Trap the Blade, Opportune Strike, and Cruel Methods. All right, here we are. This is it, people. This is it. This is the last pack that I will ever open as part of Jank It Up Fuzzball. This is it. I mean, I don't know what I'm expecting. I'm probably expecting nothing. But we'll see how it is. Here it is. Alan, thank you for sending me this. I really appreciate your generosity over the years. And so let's see if the luck holds, right? I don't know. We will see. I'm not expecting it because I've cracked darn near 40 and I've only had 1 legendary. So here we go. Raiding Party. No legendary. For me, it is a 2-cost support Pirate Scoundrel. It is neutral. After you activate the support, you may remove 1 resource from a support or upgrade in play, then gain 1 resource. So the die reads 1 range, plus 2 range, 2 indirect, discard, miss. Obviously, this is a nice little support, especially if you're running some guns, and it's even better if you're running pirates. But after you activate the support, you may remove 1 resource from a support or upgrade in play, then gain 1 resource. So you have to be able to remove a resource, then you can gain a resource. So you're hoping maybe your opponent has a merchant freighter out on the table. Then just by activating the support, you can gain that back. All right, my uncommon is Jedi Trials. Shout out D-House and Rebel Spy. It is a 2-cost plot mission with a whole bunch of text, so bear with me. Action: spot an apprentice character that has 3 blue abilities, 3 shields, and its character dice are showing a combined value of 3 or more. Then deal 3 damage from it. Oh, sorry, I said deal. Then heal 3 damage from it. Ready it. It gains Jedi, and it gains 1 die. Add a set-aside copy of its character die on it. Set this plot aside. This plot only costs 2, but holy cow, this is one of the most situational cards in the game. You have to spot an apprentice character, has 3 blue abilities. So the only upgrades on that character, assuming you're not playing a card that gives you more abilities, right? But 3 blue abilities, 3 shields, and its character dice are showing a combined value of 3 or more. Good luck with that. Please let me know if you've ever been able to pull this off. I'm genuinely intrigued. I'm sure some people, and I would love to hear if that was you. That was Jedi Trials. All right, here we go. Our last 3 commons of Jank It Up Fuzzball. Seeking Knowledge, a 1-cost neutral support. This support enters play with 2 resources on it. After the action phase begins, remove 1 resource from the support. Then, if no resources are on it, discard it to draw 3 cards. So it's blue. It's very thematic with blue. The yellow version of this deals damage, and the red version of this gives you additional actions. But I've never played this card, so I don't know. when I play blue, I'm not looking to get more cards, but maybe I should. I'm always looking to get more money, and this doesn't help with that. The next one is Warning Shot. It is a yellow 1-cost villain event. Choose an opponent's die and remove it unless they give you 1 resource. I've played this. It's you have an opportunity. Obviously, you play it and they don't have any money, then they have to remove it. Or if they have something where $1 does them good, you can at least maybe cheat that $1 out of them by playing this card, threatening to remove their best die. And then they're like, well, I want my best die, so I'm going to give you my 1 resource. So it kind of gives them the option, but if you play it well, you play in the right condition, maybe you can put them in an uncomfortable situation. Very last card today is Imposing Figure. It's got a very aggressive Wookiee in the art. It is a hero red event, 0 cost. Gain 1 resource if you control the character that has the most health. This includes ties. Keep in mind that a card like this, when asks about the most health, is not referring to most remaining health. It is literally the most health. So if you have a beefy character, even if they only have 1 health remaining, this card would trigger because it's all about their health. And then there are a couple of cards in there that will add health. So it just increases your ceiling. But yes, it's not dealing with remaining health. It's all about the health on the card. Alan, thank you again. Really appreciate that. For those wondering what was the legendary I pulled in one of Alan's pack, it was Anakin's lightsaber, Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. And so that was really, really great. You can go to the YouTube channel if you want to see that. Probably the last video. It was meant to be part 1 of a part 2 video, but then I just didn't make the part 2 because, things happen. So, hey, if you're listening and you made it this far, thank you again. From the bottom of my heart, it has been a privilege and an honor to produce content and make graphics and make web pages and have it being read and have it be listened to and have it be commented on. Really exceeded my wildest expectations, and being able to go to events and, just communicate with people well after the fact that Destiny, was concluded formally. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the continuing committee. I think they're doing outstanding work. But for FFG to kind of pull the plug on it last January, it's been nice having some people to talk to. It's been nice having people that I've met through this game have conversations that has nothing to do with Destiny. It's nice talking about kids and talking about the weather and talking about fishing and talking about different games. And that's what games do, right? They bring us together, even if we live miles and miles and states apart. Okay, so hey, I just want to reiterate, it's been great. Thank you. And then I hope that if you enjoyed my ramblings, if you enjoyed my, whatever I had to say, if you've enjoyed Jank It Up Fuzzball, and you want to keep in touch, then please bpiana@gmail.com or @bpiana on Twitter or @brianpiana on Instagram. Find me there, say hello, and let's keep it going, right? I'm still playing Destiny. I'm just not going to talk about it. And that's where we're at. But hey, I'm going to be playing Destiny. I hope you'll be playing Destiny, whether that's with the new cards or another player-created set, or playing Destiny Smash, which seems to be a super fun format, or cracking boxes, if you can get them on the cheap, or just building decks and playing at the kitchen table, which is where this all started. Please, play some Jank, roll some dice, have some fun. I'm your host, Brian. This has been Jank It Up Fuzzball. Have a great one. Thank you.